Hi there guys, it's Heather from Holistic Simplistic. Back again to share another one of my favorite dinner recipes with you. Today we're doing one of my fall favorites. This is a great recipe with some great fall vegetables incorporated. It's a fall favorite with kale, cauliflower, sweet potatoes and tempeh, and it's just a nice simmer, and it's all in one pan, so it makes it really easy to clean up and watch. So it's a very simple recipe that I have to offer today. So hopefully you got your grocery list and are ready to roll. So we're going to do the start to finish. Nothing is pre-cooked or pre-baked. Everything is done right here in front of you. And if you have any questions, you can always tweet me at HOLSIM Heather. That's Wholesome Heather. And if you want your grocery list, you can also email me at heather@holistiksimplistic.com. So let's get cracking. Let's start this recipe up. This is super fun. So we'll start by turning on our pan. Want to get this heated up. And throw a little olive oil in there so that it gets nice and warm for you. And we're going to get our garlic out. And we're just going to mince a couple of cloves. Depends on how much garlic you really prefer in your recipes. This is a really great way to add a lot of flavor with just this little guy. Just crack this. Whew. Got a good sized clove. And just chop off each of the ends and peel off those layers to it. Garlic really is a great way to get nice cleansing of the blood. It's always something that you can smell in the pores of the skin and in the breath. I mean, that's what it's known for. So when you have the garlic, it really is a potent thing. So you don't need a lot of it. Let's just give it a nice mince. Chop it up real finely. If you have a garlic crusher or anything you're typically used to when you have garlic in your recipes, go ahead and use it. It's going to get it nice and chopped up. I don't need it too fine. So we got one of those. Throw that in there. I'm going to add an extra dose to mine today. Been in the garlic mood. Fall really does bring out a whole new set of flavors with the seasons and the vegetables that become available. And really our bodies end up changing too. It gets a little colder, you have a little tendency to have a sensation for something different, a little warmer, a little heartier. It's natural to our bodies to kind of progress in this way because that's kind of the instincts that we're given. You know, when it starts to get colder, you need a little bit extra to kind of even it all out. So a lot of heartier vegetables, a lot of potatoes, things that are a little sweeter as well. As you'll notice that we'll be using the sweet potato. So here we go. Garlic is in. And we'll wait for that to kind of simmer up. We just want to get that olive oil all over those garlics. I'm glad you're nice and high so I can see everything. Get these things simmered. So now we're going to move on to tempeh. We're going to prepare that because we're going to throw that right in the pan with the garlic so we can get that nice and flavorful as well. If you're not familiar with tempeh, this is awesome. It's a great chance to kind of branch out from traditional meat style dishes, but this is also like a different take on tofu. It's the same thing, soybean based, but this one has a little bit more of nuttier flavor. It combines itself with a lot of grains and it has a little bit of a different texture than tofu. So if you're not really into tofu, this is an awesome alternative. I love tempeh, and it's kind of the same way. You can kind of flavor it any way you want to because it has that neutral flavor to it when you've got it. Find it in a package like this. Comes in a big kind of chunk like this. So I'm just going to cut it down into more bite-sized pieces. And it's real easy to cut. Just want to get it in a nice squares and cut it down like that. So has a little bit of a saltier texture as well than the tofu, just because of the green. So it's really, I love it. I just love it, and I feel like it really gives a different texture if you're not looking to have just chicken, you know, all the time or something like that. It's great. So just slicing them down into bite-sized pieces. Move these garlics around a little bit, and then I'm going to throw it in the pan. I want this tempeh to get a nice sear on each side of it so it has a nice texture to it. It is a little soft when you get it originally, so it either needs to be baked, sauteed. I mean, it is ready to eat as well, but I like it to have a nice little sear on it so it has a great flavor to it as well. And like I said before, you really want it to absorb that flavor. Just going to chop this one down a little bit further. So we'll get that going. I'm going to add a little more olive oil to that to make sure that everything gets nice and coated. Cool. Smell the garlic cooking already. This is one of these meals that if you can make a decent portion of it, this can hold you over to the next day. I mean, I just munch on this as a snack all the time. It's got such a great combo factor of all these awesome flavors and veggies. It's so easy to make too. You just have it in one big dish. It's great for if you have, like, you know, people coming over. It's awesome. So while we're waiting for this to get a good sear on it, I'm going to start prepping the other vegetables that we're going to throw in. We'll start with the sweet potato. This is a great vegetable for the fall. Has nice fiber to it and sweetness factor that we look for sometimes when we're feeling, you know, the fall season come around. The sweetness factor is great for these sweet potatoes, and if you're a big time runner like me, this is a really good vegetable because it's complex carbohydrates, so it's not just giving you just the sugar elements, but also the fiber and the sweetness and the beta-carotenes, which is a great vitamin that we're all looking for to add. So just going to chop this down into chunks, so bite-sized chunks. We'll get that going. That bright orange color is so great. Really chopping it up. So we've got these nice circles here. I'm just going to chop them down a little bit further. Nice. Sweet potatoes are so delish. I love that color, it just really pops. I love baking these too, add a little cinnamon and honey on it. It's like dessert, it's like candy. So these are really great in the fall season when you're feeling that sweetness kick in. Fantastic. Go-to. Cool. Just getting these in the right size. And push these aside. Let's take a check on the tempeh. Want to just kind of rotate them around so each of the sides kind of get a nice sear on it. So we'll just move these around, turn the heat up just a little bit. Good. Great. Yeah, just want to get them all turned over so that each of the sides can really get that nice brown on it. Nice. Great. So, vegetable number 2. I went for the cauliflower. It's just a nice hearty vegetable because we're going to be simmering this down later. You kind of want a heartier vegetable in there. So it doesn't go too soft. But you also want to make sure that, you know, it absorbs up some of the flavor that we're going to be adding with the vegetable broth. So I chose the cauliflower. Parsnips actually would work amazing. Broccoli would be a great option as well. But I like the cauliflower. I think it's really a great veggie. So just chopping it down too, so in the bite-sized pieces to add to it. Cauliflower is one of those great veggies too that you can kind of add to things and it can mold into whatever. I make a lot of mashed cauliflower, perfect for Thanksgiving time that's coming up. Just grab those, chop these down. Look like we got an array of colors already going here. This is so great. Cool. Alright, let's check and see how these tempehs are doing. Nice. Give it a nice brownness to them. Make sure we get them all seared. Looking good. That really brings out that nuttier flavor. If you ever roast a nut, you'll kind of see that the oils start to really come out. You smell it a little bit more. It's the same thing with this kind of concept. Just a little bit of heat really warms it, toasts it, and gives it that nice, fragrant, and it kind of gives it that different flavor that we're really looking for, that toasty, warm, nutty flavor. Awesome. That garlic just really sets it all off. Cool. Let's throw the rest of these veggies in there. Just toss them in. Now, we're going to move on to our green. Now, I said Farro, which, don't be scared. It's not anything too crazy, I promise you. I wouldn't throw that at you. But if you're too scared, just stick with the brown rice. It's not a huge change. But Farro is such a cool alternative. Cooks the same as rice. It just kind of has that same texture, but it just has a protein and fiber factors, so it's a double bonus. You know, you add a little protein and fiber with it. It's amazing. Cooks the same way. Throw it in some water, 10 minutes, it's done. So we've got these going. Gonna add our vegetable broth on there. So I don't even have a proper measuring tool, so I just grabbed a teacup. So when in doubt, you can do just fill up a teacup here, 8 ounces, about a cup. And we'll throw it in here. Good. And then we're going to do the same with Farro, about half a cup with the Farro. Let's wait for this to boil before we throw in the Farro. Just want to get that nice and hot. My homemade measuring cup. We're really into alternatives over here. So let's make sure that this is up here. Kind of get all those vegetables covered in the veggie broth. Want to make sure that they absorb some of that flavor. Great. So with the tempeh, it's really going to absorb that flavor. You really want to be able to absorb it, because like I said before, it is a take on tofu and it kind of doesn't have much of a flavor alone. So it really would be good if you added just a little bit of a sauce or a season to it if you're going to use it. So the Farro is just a great alternative to brown rice. Brown rice can tend to, it breaks down, it has that white rice factor to it, but brown rice has the fiber. This also has fiber to it, but it also has a protein element. So looks very similar to rice, like the fact that it has the added bonus of the protein in it. So when we make recipes like that, we want to make sure we're getting all the values out of all of our ingredients. So just wanted to opt for something a little different. You'll find it in your grains aisle, rice aisles. It's a great choice to kind of just experiment with, see how it feels with the body. I like to expand other things. Quinoa is a great alternative too. That one also is a dual benefit with the protein and the fiber. And that also is a great option of cooking here. That comes in different colors, so it makes it nice and fun. And it's a quick cook as well, so you just throw them in. Just wait for this to boil up a little bit so we can have it nice and hot, and then we'll throw our Farro into it. It's nice that everything stays into this one pan so that it makes it an easy cook, easy cleanup for later. So everything gets put in one spot, easy to serve with, and that's what we're talking about. It's great to have something done quickly, but if you have a lot of mess afterwards, it defeats the purpose. Still have work at the end. So we'll move on to our next vegetable in just a minute. Love these great, hearty kale recipe. Always adds a good, nice factor. It's very popular these days, so I wanted to incorporate that as well. So this is cool. Once this starts to get boiled, we're just going to cover it up. So if you have a cover, that's great. And that will take about 10 minutes to simmer down, which is something that you can kind of set and kind of tend to something else, clean up your area if you need, want to utilize that time to your advantage. Make sure these are all good. Always craving this garlic flavor. It's so potent. been making it with a lot of salads and dressings, and it really just adds such a great punch of a seasoning to it, and it's an incredible addition to your dishes. We roast it as well, and it also adds such a great flavor. It turns out a little differently. Rather than mincing it, if you keep it in its whole form, it actually turns out a little bit sweeter. So if you're baking anything, vegetables, you can always just throw it in there whole. It totally changes the flavor of it when you keep it all intact, which is so cool, so different. And they also last forever in your refrigerator, which is always great. Always having a garlic in there, it's a staple in my refrigerator. Really starting to smell this, getting all its flavors heated up together. Another way to use the sweet potato is you can put more of a spice on it. I actually use turmeric on it, which is an Indian spice, and it's really nice. It gives it a different taste to it, kind of I don't want to say curry, but it does add a nice flavor to the turmeric, to the sweet potato if you add turmeric to it. It's a nice orangier spice, not quite hot, but it does add a great element, and that is just an amazing spice to put on because it's anti-inflammatory. I used to carry it around in my purse because it was so great, and I would put it on everything. So baking the sweet potato, it's just so many great ways to incorporate it. If you add it to your diet, you'll definitely feel the advantages to it. So we'll add in the farro. We're just going to stir that around. And then if you have your cover, you can put it on and let this absorb all that broth. So I'm just going to use aluminum foil as my cover. And that's a great option as well. Be careful, it's a little hot. Sometimes I feel like I'm cooking for college kids as well. You've got aluminum foil and a teacup. You're good to go. So great, so that's probably going to take about 10 minutes to cook all down, allow that farro to kind of open up and absorb and soften. So we'll let that do its work. And then we'll move on to the kale. Now if you have kale by the bushel, you just want to grab it by the spine and kind of rip it off into pieces. It doesn't really have to be anything that you use a knife for. It's nice and easy to tear off, but feel free to use a knife if you really want to create some shapes with it. But it's easy to tear off. This came pre-shredded for me. So kale is just a great leafy green. It's super dark in color compared to regular lettuce, and that's because it has a high amount of vitamin K to it, which is something that you find in a lot of the leafier greens. Vitamin K is a great vitamin to add to the diet. It's known to be to have an anti-cancer agents to it. So if you have a lot of leafy greens, a lot of dark colored green leafy greens in your diet, then you're really adding a great amount of vitamin K to your diet, which is rare to find. It's very difficult to find vitamin K. So Kale, has that vitamin to it. So it's really great. Has a bitter taste to it. So it's great to add into recipes that have a lot of different flavors to it. Or I've been loving making salads with kale and really spicing it up with some great dressings, with tahini dressings. Really has unique flavor to it, but it has so many health benefits to it. Incorporating kale into the diet. Making kale chips is also one of my favorite things to do, just baking them quickly, that you can see on my YouTube channel as well. So we're going to throw these in later on because it doesn't take as long for them to cook, so we don't want them to get too soggy. So we'll add them a few minutes later so that they can bring that green and pull the whole thing together. It's going to be a really delicious, colorful dish. And you'll see. We'll probably jump in and kind of stir this around a little bit. Make sure everything's kind of molding together correctly. But like I said, this is a great time to kind of take advantage of cleaning everything up, allow this to set, and you can kind of take care of the other things and wait for everything to absorb. A lot of these recipes that I have are just kind of set it and forget it styles, which makes things really easy for you to continue to be able to do whatever you do. Because if you have a busy lifestyle like me, you can't really suck up too much time prepping and cooking. So I just want to be able to show you that start to finish this can be done super simple and easy. You even have a little time in between. We'll give it a quick peek to hear that everything's kind of boiling up. Just want to give it a nice stir, make sure everything is kind of covered in that broth that you have. It smells amazing. It should be nice and fragrant for you. So I encourage you to kind of go out on a limb and try some tempeh or try some farro. Always try to get a new ingredient in there. Makes the kitchen a little bit more exciting to work with when you're trying something new for yourself. There's a lot of greens out there that are interesting to try, and it may help your digestion. It may give you more energy. May spice up the diet, spice up the refrigerator a little bit. So, love to hear what your thoughts are on the tempeh. Tweet me, let me know what you think, how it turned out. Want to see those pictures? Give me your fall favorites. I like making a lot of the grain and kind of chilling it. Also makes a great cold salad, having a nice grain chilled. I add a couple of cucumbers or tomatoes and a little balsamic and olive oil. That's always an easy one. Add a little dill to it. That's what I'm thinking. And that always, a nice fresh herb always makes a nice easy salad when you throw that on top. So having a lot of cooking things, I encourage cooking things in larger portions so you can, not worry about stressing about having to make something every day all the time. So making large portions of things, everything is ready, and you can tweak it from then on, the day later kind of stuff. give it a peek, make sure that everything's working. That steam really helps absorb everything, as every time I open it up, you get a big steam bob. But that really helps increase the heat, helps open all the vegetables up, break up those fibers, and really be able to cook it down. If you're finding that your rice needs a little bit of extra, broth, that's why I put a cup plus. You can always add more and allow it to simmer down a little bit more. Let's give it a quick stir so that everything's still under that great broth that we added. Let's give it a taste test quickly. Just want to see how long we're going to be. It's already getting a little chewy, which is good. It's nice. Kale can also really be a great element to the body. Talking a lot about alkalining the body. And one of the main things about alkalining the body is adding a lot of these green leafy vegetables or green juice. When the body's typically acidic, so when you add in green leaves, green vegetables into the body, it balances it so that we can remain at a neutral level. So these are alkaline, opposite of acidic, so that when you add this in, if our body's already acidic, it brings it to a neutral spot. When your body's too acidic, it tends to create diseases, and you feel, the arthritis, aches, pains. You get sick. Even worse, you can even get really sick and develop mutated cells that turn into cancer cells. So having a highly acidic body, which comes from a lot of acidic foods and beverages, things that are high in sugar, very processed, meat products, heavy in meat products, is acidic. So we want to keep a nice balance of foods that are acidic, and then foods that are also alkaline, the green vegetables, the beans, and also a lot of high quality water. So that really helps balance the body. So incorporating some nice dark green leafy greens always helps balance the body and helps you just make you feel better by adding all those great minerals and vitamins that your body really needs. All right, let's give this a quick peek. See that we're running out of our juice here. So let's throw in some of our kale. And get that stirred around. Add a touch more of broth. So we can cook that down. This already looks so pretty. Give it a quick stir, whoops, so that everything can kind of get a little hit of broth. Taste one of these potatoes, sweet potatoes, see how that's doing. Cover it back up just a couple more minutes so that kale can wilt down. Perfect. It's nice and soft, not quite overdone. And that's really what we're looking for. We really want it to absorb that vegetable broth flavor and be able to be soft. And the cauliflower should be right on the mark as well. So as long as your farro or brown rice is cooked to the point where it's good, whether you need to add broth or not, then we should be pretty good to go in about a couple of minutes. This is a great balanced meal, all in one dish. It has lots of high proteins to it, and also incorporating some of those cool fall vegetables that we haven't seen in a long time. I'm really craving all these fall vegetables, fennels, and just different flavors. This really keeps you nice and warm. I mean, there's also the option if you wanted to bake everything and make your rice separate and kind of combine the two. That's always an option too. If you prefer to have things baked, you could kind of add a little bit of different seasonings to them too, as a different alternative. But I like to get it all done in one, which makes my life so much easier. And that's what it is, holistic, simplistic, right? So your kale should be a nice, bright green at this point. There we go. Perfect. Now check your farro to make sure that it's at a texture that you feel is, is cooked throughout. You may need to add a little bit more vegetable broth, give it a couple extra minutes. It's good. So we'll take this off, top it. And here you go. All these great colors, orange greens, a little bit of the farro and nice added brown texture to it. Let's taste our tempeh. You can add a little salt and pepper as needed. Perfect. Has that great nutty texture. And it has a nice bake throughout. Perfect. Excellent. Well, there you go, guys. Another recipe from Holistic Simplistic. This is my fall favorite. Kale, tempeh, cauliflower, and sweet potato simmer, all in one pan. Enjoy. See you next time.